Let's see if this technology actually works today.
We are live.
I don't see it in the link I provided. Oh boy.
It may take. There's what like a.
There's like a little
20-30
delay, right?
Yeah.
Let me
so,
see. Yep, there it is.
Cool. Sweet.
There's us.
There
Chelle, do
we
you need
are.
me to send you the link?
Mhm.
Okay. I need
That would
to
be helpful.
send Chelle the link. Hang on. So she can help moderate this shenanigans. And
Shenanigans indeed. Okay.
let's see. Did you send that to me? You sent that to me in Discord.
Yeah.
Send that over to Chelle. There it is. All right. One sec, Chelle. It's on its way to you. I'll send it through Facebook chat. All right. What is it you're working on?
I'm working on my Eldar Combat Patrol, assembling that, getting that ready for the Tacoma Open Combat Patrol event that's happening in the evenings after Legions Imperialis.
Right.
I unfortunately wasn't able to get the base coats done on the Necromunda Underhive stuff. My outcast, so pivot not in time. I didn't want to rush it.
Necromunda Underpants.
Underpants. That's the other game, according to the Badcast. Warhammer Underpants.
Warhammer Underpants. That's what they call it. Cool. I don't know if we have any people in there yet.
You do not.
Okay.
But it's
We
also
have
not
one
loading
view,
for me.
which might be Chelle.
Yeah. Okay. It's not loading.
Video's just spinning.
That's a problem. Hang on. Let me go help Chelle with this.
Yeah. I'll pop open the Discord just in case anybody else is having issues. Oh, I don't think I have it on this computer. I do. Cool. Oh, now we got two viewers. Looks like it's working.
It's
Do you want to post the link in the Discord on Patron chat, Carl?
I don't know why this isn't showing up. You can try restarting your computer. That's the only thing I can do.
See if it comes up on here.
What?
See if it comes up on here.
All right. We don't know what's going on there. That's okay. All right. Yeah. So I'm trying to finish painting up this guy here.
Let's share this too.
I can never remember what this guy's called. Arc something or other. He's the guy riding the scorpion-like thing. The chaos guy. I don't think I'm going to get him finished during this period. Oh, cool. That's all gummed up. I've learned not to squeeze that hard when that happens. But I think I'm going to be like 98% done. I want to put a little what you call it, a decal on the flag, on both sides of the flag, and the flag is like not flat in the slightest. It's very
Oh yeah,
yeah, it's
you
super
got the
curved.
waves to go with it and the contours.
Yeah, so it's going to be kind of for me, that's going to be a first time I've really challenged myself on a decal like that, but we'll see how that works out.
Little micro set, little micro soul.
A lot of micro a lot of
micro soul on that one, especially to flatten that out.
Whatever number 1 is.
Oh no, you want more number 2 on that, I think.
What's this? That's the softening agent.
That'll actually soften it and help it contour to the curves of the flag.
Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want. So anyway, yeah, I'm just finishing up kind of the guy's saddle, some of the cabling, and his weapon here, and then I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna airbrush like a glow effect off the weapon on the front.
Nice.
And then he's done, and then it's on to the other. What do you call him? The I always want to say Hellbrute, but I mean the Mauler Fiend and Forge Fiends.
Forge Fiend and Mauler Fiends, getting your demon engine list going up next.
That's right. And then I think it's on to Sisters of Battle. Oh, we need to finalize the Hobby Progress Challenge stuff before the next episode too. So.
I keep meaning to double check the thread that I created. Because that was more than 30 days ago, just to see if it does stick around.
Oh, right, through
Discord.
Yeah. Yeah. I really should have done this guy in sub-assemblies, but I'm not. Kind of the worst when it comes to sub-assemblies.
Just excited to get it done.
I'm usually excited to get it kind of all together, and the other thing is usually I'm working on a bunch of stuff at once, and so sub-assemblies I've run into issues where I've misplaced pieces.
Because,
I mean, I'm sure I could organize myself a bit better and get myself into a situation where like I'm like have little trays with each piece, but I always I mean, like I had at one point when we were receiving Games Workshop product back before we took the last break, they had sent me one of the new dreadnoughts that they had. They were new at the time. Now they've been out forever. I can't even remember I'm not playing Space Marines anymore.
The Marine, like one of the Redemptors.
Yeah. And so I had that and I started assembling it and then kind of lost interest because I was working on other stuff, and next thing I know, like I have this tray of pieces of this thing. I'm like, I think they're all there, but I don't have a whole lot of confidence on that. So, it is what it is. Oh, I gotta get that too. What else? So, and I messaged you earlier today about our next episode, which we're looking at doing another episode of rare 40K items, rare 40K stuff.
Show and tell.
Yeah, basically show and tell, and talking a little history about some of the item and what it is. And And so I was going through a bunch of stuff that I have. Some stuff I didn't even realize I had. And then, which tells you why I've stopped buying that kind of stuff. But some of it's really cool. And then the first thing I did, I opened this box. I'm like, I know I've got some stuff in here. And I opened the box and I'm like, oh, there's my hardback Titanicus rulebook that I couldn't find. Oh, and I had these other 2 Titanicus books as well. Okay, that's where they went. Because I remember when I got back into Titanicus, I was like, I think I even asked you or somebody else. I'm like, do you happen to have my hardback Titanicus book? Like, I could not find it, and I ended up buying another softback copy of it. And that's what I've been using. And
okay.
yeah, and so now I've found my original stuff, so that's cool. I'm really bummed that they've stopped that.
Pass it along.
That's right. But I'm really bummed that that's. It's.
I
think
still
it's.
They haven't officially announced that it's unsupported, and I think anything that comes out for Allegiance Imperialis, such as the new Warhound weapons that
they can
came
just
in there,
dupe
like
over,
they released
right?
weapon cards. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it seems with very minimal investment on their part, it would be fine.
Yeah. From a loyalist, or I guess from a Horus Heresy standpoint,
yeah,
the range is fairly complete. Like, there's not a whole lot they need to add to it as far as the more main battle titans.
Agreed.
There's definitely some very obscure ones out there. So the next expansion, naturally, that makes sense would be obviously Xenos races.
I don't see that happening.
I won't hold my breath for, but I would still be. I'll love it if it happens, but I'm not going to hold my breath.
Yeah. Well, maybe it'll be something that, the community takes over, right? Because we've had that happen with, like, what I've been looking at is, what's the fantasy version of Necromunda?
Mordheim.
I've been looking at the community stuff for for Mordheim, which they've completely supported.
So like Necromunda, Blood Bowl, Mordheim, Battlefleet Gothic, dead games that have. I think there's so many players for Games Workshop games that even if they're unsupported, like, there's still thriving and vibrant communities.
Exactly. And so I wonder if Titanicus will not become one of those things. And who knows? People with 3D printing being a thing, people could potentially make Xenos.
Yeah.
Xenos.
Absolutely. I've seen a handful of people in the Titanicus Facebook group that have been printing Eldar Titans.
Yeah, that's I think the next logical step right there is the Eldar Titans.
Get some Eldar Titans, some Orc Gargants.
Yeah. Oh, that Orc. I didn't think about that, but Orcs, Orcs also make a lot of sense. Yeah. I mean, originally I was thinking you could use like a Wraith Lord for for a certain level of Titan, because it's, pretty much that scale.
Similar scale, yeah.
Yeah, but 3D printed would be even cooler. All right.
I'm actually curious from a Forge World standpoint, the Eldar Titans being a bit older now, how many of those are CAD designed versus all just hand sculpted greenies? And
no clue.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that.
Oh, the other thing I found as I was digging through a bunch of old stuff was I have a ton. Well, okay, not a literal ton, but I have quite a few not Gene Stealers, gaunts, metal gaunts, still in package.
Oh, metal gaunts.
Yep, still in their original blister packages.
So this is from your original push on Tyranids?
I don't know how. I don't know where I got them. I don't know how I have these things, but I have them.
Huh.
I will.
Did you find any of the old Raveners while you're at it?
No, a Biovore, why am I drawing blanks here? Probably because I'm so tired from all my stupid jet lag.
Still jet lagged. Yeah.
It's incredible. The Lictor. I have a Lictor in there.
Okay.
But now they're in plastic and they're so good. The plastic ones are so good. I'll never.
They're so much more dynamic now.
Yeah. Oh, and a Warrior. And I'm like, I'm never putting this stuff together. Are you kidding me? Oh, maybe I can sell it to somebody who's interested, but otherwise
some of the old Hammer guys would be
out.
interested for sure. I'm sure somebody would go for it.
I'd let it go cheap too. I'm not going to use it. Oh man.
Send it to a good home.
That's right. That's right. So anyway, found that, which I thought was hysterical. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even know I had these. You saw the pictures of some of the collector's stuff I sent you. And that's just like, I have more than that. In fact, you know what was funny is I was looking, and I have a bunch of Black Library collector stuff as well. And I found this one, which I'm going to hold up to my camera.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh. I didn't realize this was written by Aaron Dembski-Bowden.
Oh.
And I haven't read it. And so I'm like kind of excited because, Chelle, you'll like that. It's a Aaron book over here. So
Yay.
yeah. So
Ragnar's a cool character.
He's a very cool character. Yeah. And I have not read that one. So I'm very excited that I have a Aaron Dembski-Bowden book. I actually messaged him and said, "Oh, I just found this and I didn't realize you wrote it." So that's kind of
good find.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Very good find. Yeah. I think I got some pretty unique items that in some cases I don't think a lot of people have because they were very limited in the number of prints that they had.
Yeah.
So
see, I've been in the hobby a long time, so I've had a lot of old stuff over the years, but I never had the disposable income for any of the kind of cool stuff, especially when just starting it so young.
Yeah, that's why I didn't get into the hobby until much later. It was just too expensive. But I have
there's some really cool stuff that it's cool to see out there.
Absolutely. I have also if you're watching this, you're a Patreon member, but if you're a Patreon member of the right level, I have uploaded the episode 235 of the Independent Characters for early access. So that's up and available now as well.
It's live.
Yeah. I don't know that we could talk a little bit about Australia here. We don't really talk about it on the show very much. But I thought you and I would sit down and kind of record a hour and a half kind of discussion about it. Because it was fascinating. And I think, I don't know if I mentioned on the show, I don't think I did, but I think I was talking to you and Jody later about the prices and how people, people are under this, like, especially you see it from the United States where people say, oh, those Australians are really getting screwed on prices. And I got to tell you, like, I went into the Games Workshop store there and looked at the prices of things and then calculated the conversion rate for US prices on it. And they're about 6 or 7% higher, somewhere in that neighborhood. In general. So if you're getting something from a local store there that is giving you a 15-20% discount on that stuff, then you are getting a deal. I mean it is slightly more expensive, but I will say, I bought 2 copies of White Dwarf when I was there, and when I converted the exchange rate, I had paid $14 for 2 copies, which is cheaper than I could get.
Favorable.
Yeah, which was cheaper than I can get here. So I think a copy of White Dwarf here is now like $12 or something like that. $11, $12. pretty pricey.
Yeah. Yeah, they've gotten up there.
Yeah, they've changed the paper on it too. I don't like the new paper. It's not glossy paper anymore.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of a matte paper.
I've noticed they've added a ton of the old back issues into the vault.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a Warhammer Plus subscriber, so I have actually been enjoying going through some of the older stuff and checking that out.
Very cool.
From my youth.
I would like to see them do more on the Warhammer Plus front there. I feel like
there's definitely
I feel like there's a lag of content there. Oh man, every time I look at this model, Josh, I'm like, son of a gun, there's more detail there.
You've missed trim somewhere.
It's not I got all the trim now. That happened a lot. But like every time I think like, okay, I'm just gonna do this, and then I'm done, I'm like, oh yeah, there's these holes here.
But wait, there's more.
Those should be metallic. There's all these skulls. I didn't think about the skulls. All right.
Well, if you're playing Chaos, there's always more skulls.
I know. What was I thinking? What was I thinking?
Skulls are never done.
I had a good time recording with you and Jody yesterday. That was fun.
Yeah, it was good. Good catch up and
man,
shoot the breeze.
Real jealous you guys got to Adepticon. That's right. I'll do it next year.
Yeah. There's always next year. Every year. There's always next year.
Chelle and I will both be at Nova. So that's
nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty good event. I mean, it's not Adepticon. But a bunch of our friends will be there. So I mean, it's kind of the same thing. Oh,
I know a lot of the, maybe less of the local crew, but the extended IC's family with, Dan Osborne. I know Ivan will be there. Dan will be there. I'm sure Campbell's going.
I don't know if Campbell is going. I think he is. I think he is. I think I think he's done with school at that point, but I don't know what the, you never know what the financial situation is. I mean, it's a trek, right? I think
it's the complete opposite side of the country. So yeah,
I don't think Dan is going. I for some reason I'm thinking it's somewhere near the birth of his new kid that he can't pull it off. I don't know. I could be wrong.
That is what he was saying at Adepticon, is that it will be his last hurrah and that he really won't exist for like 6 months after that.
Yeah.
So I think he's going big.
Okay. Well, good. I'm glad I'll see him there then. I don't know. We'll find out because we're going to have him on the show pretty soon here to
that's right.
discuss Necromunda and the was it Orlok?
The old Orlok gang.
Orlok gang. We figured we had Campbell on for Goliath. Guess we have to have Dan on. Actually, I think that'll be a really good episode too. Dan's they're both such fun guys. They're good characters.
They're very insightful. Yeah, good characters.
Yeah, Dan had some really good insight in that last episode where we had the two of them on.
Yeah, that collab episode, the financial, but just like company insights was really, really cool to hear from somebody who's not in the organization.
But he had some thoughts there that I hadn't thought about it. It was kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was kind of cool. All right. Let's see. My Lost Titanicus stuff, Ragnar Blackmane. Going through my list of topics here pretty quick. The other thing, well, I don't want to go too much into the collectibles because we'll talk about those in the show.
Yeah.
I don't want to do any spoilers there. Cool. Got that done.
For those of you watching along, if you want to type in the chat and let us know what you're working on if you're hopping along too.
Do we actually have people now?
Got 3, and one of those is me.
All right, so we got 2. That's cool. Those are the 2 most important people in the world to me right now, except for you, Chelle. You are always the most important.
That's a good save, baby.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, say hi in the chat if you're here.
Yeah, please. And let us know what you're working on. And if you're very interested, we might be able to somehow get you in here to show us what you're doing. I don't know. I'll leave that up to Josh.
It's pretty easy. Yeah.
Okay.
If you got something you want to show off and talk about for a few minutes, happy to bring you
pull
in.
you in. That's right.
Oh, David Glick. Good to see you, man. David is who I played in my second game at Adepticon in the Legions of Perils game.
You were talking
I
about
see he's working on Spartans here, probably inspired from the Spartans I brought to bear and almost killed his warlord with.
You were talking about that. That was one you got down to 1 or 2 wounds left, and you thought
was 1 or 2 wounds left, and
you thought if you had another round,
had we had time for another round, that was all I was going to do, was try to kill it.
That's right. That's a good story.
It was a super fun game. David's a great guy, so yeah, glad to see you in here too, David.
David, are you a regular to Adepticon? Do you regularly go to Adepticon? And if so, will you be there next year? All right. You know what? I'm getting pretty happy with the way this guy's coming out. But I am kind of ready to be done with this. Son of a gun, there's some trim I missed. I am kind of ready to be done with this model, though, I will say.
For something that's not going to get as much use compared
it's
to
not
your sorcerer.
It's not.
David lives in Chicago.
Oh, so he always goes to Adepticon. You know, I almost said lucky.
Then you remembered it was Chicago.
Then I remember it's Chicago, and I flew out there to help them. I've talked about this on the show, but to help Hank and Dave Taylor and Matt and those guys and Damon paint one year, and it was like super snowing when we got there, and it's cold there. It's cold there. Californians don't deal well with the kind of cold.
Yeah, we're definitely spoiled.
It was like 80 degrees here today.
David said he's grateful that I got my voice back, or glad to hear I got my voice back.
Yeah.
Which he was playing with me Saturday, which was the worst of the voice. It took me about a full week to get the voice back.
Chelle, you may not know this, but Josh lost his voice the first day of Adepticon.
Well, that's inconvenient.
Loud and dry.
Super inconvenient. And then, did you say you were a little sick when you got back?
A couple days later, I ended up getting a cold for just a day or two. It was a minor concred.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Chelle explained that in
That's weird.
235. Yeah. Although that came from so we're watching the F1 race, and this is in Australia, and the race starts, and Max Verstappen of Red Bull leaps out to the lead, which is totally expected. And they're like, Max Verstappen takes lead. Chelle's like, that's weird. And that kind of became our whole. She's been using that a lot now. I like that.
That seems pretty out of character for old Max Verstappen.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Yeah, I know.
He would have won it too, except for those darn brake problems. Yeah, boy, we've now seen F1 races in like 5 or 6 different countries. It's been really, really cool. Really cool.
It's pretty.
It's not a cheap hobby, man. People talk about 40K being expensive. Man, nothing compared to that. It is a
global jet setting to watch.
It is a ridiculously
multi-billion-dollar race cars.
I blame Doug. For it.
Yeah.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.
But, it's pretty cool. Oh my god, I'm so ready to be done painting this guy.
It's also a really cool way to experience other countries and cultures
Yeah.
and fans from different locales. And you were saying yesterday that like it's not a vacation, but it's an adventure.
It's an adventure. I liked your distinction between those two, because Chelle and I in the past we would go to Hawaii, which is a vacation for us. We don't pack it with a lot of events. We just kind of go there. We hang out at the beach a little bit. We do some snorkeling and stuff, and
But it's very chill.
play with the turtles. Yeah,
Yeah.
slow
There's no
slow life
schedule.
down.
There's no schedule.
Right. Whereas
yeah.
whereas when we went to Austria and the UK for the Formula One race, and we went to, you have to be there at this time kind of thing. And once you set that to it, it becomes a lot less relaxing. Okay. I am going to the Maelstrom Mixer in about 3 weeks, which is the Fault Line 40K guys, which I think is a really unfortunate name because it always gets confused with Frontline 40K. But the Fault Line 40K guys are putting it on in downtown San Jose, and I'm bringing my Black Legion, Josh, led by a Demon Prince and Sorcerer. I need to get in a practice game or two before I go to this, though, because I just don't have enough experience with it yet. I'm gonna make Chelle play another game with me.
I'm up.
Yeah, I'll definitely happy to bring the Sharks to bear or Necrons either way.
Yeah, whoever, doesn't matter to me.
Sharks, unfortunately, just won't be quite fully painted yet.
I just need practice playing these. Like I said, I played Chelle. We played a game. I don't remember if we talked about that on the show or not. Anyway, Chelle and I played a game. She had brought her Eldar, and
you did.
Yeah, we did. We talked about that.
It was last episode.
Yeah, that's right. And I realized I had done something wrong the whole game. It really gave me an advantage, and I realized it later, and I was like, "Oh no, that's not how that rule works." Yeah, you can. Yeah, don't me. It's hard. It's hard knowing the rules to 2 armies on the table. I didn't know how to play Eldar either. Although Chelle got go ahead.
Oh, that's actually an interesting question. With 2 of you playing, how were you using the Commander app or the Battlefield Commander?
Yeah.
What did we do?
Well, we didn't really. We used the cards for Chelle.
Okay.
And I used the app because, at first I was like, "Oh, well, just sign in under my account on your phone." But you can't because it's tied to your Apple ID.
Yeah.
And so, it wasn't possible. Oh my God, I'm almost done. He's looking really good. I like the way these cables came out. All right.
Is that some red there? Am I seeing?
Yeah. I don't know how well you can
that
see
breaks up the black base. Yeah.
But yeah, I did the cabling red just so it stands out a little bit with some silver in there because the cables are kind of.
And that's a little bit of cape that he's got that's red?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. And he's sitting on a leather saddle and has a little bag there. It's a cool model, man. I mean, it's a really cool model. I should have done it in sub-assemblies, but oh, shoot, look at all these cables. Son of a... Every time I turn around, there's more detail on this model. I'm like, I'm almost done. No.
Wait till you start that Sisters.
Oh, my God. Chelle, you're not. You see them. Jody came over and broke the cherub off my
he did.
Exorcist. Thanks, dude. I got it. It happens. It's not going to be the last time that thing gets broken off. I guarantee you that.
Gotta get that plastic glue going.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
All right. So I'll just do these cables here.
One just fun thing. Adon at Adepticon was giving out his dry fitter union pins that he has.
Still has those things.
He still has them. But with working on metal models for the first time in like 10 plus years, I was like, oh, I definitely need to like dry fit and see how these are gonna fit and like cut away stuff a little bit to
without a
make
doubt.
sure it's all gonna work out. So I was happy to have the pin be part of the club.
Stupid metal models, man. I tell you what, after doing that Demon Prince, I'm going to do everything I can to avoid metal models again. Just, it's so interesting how the paint just doesn't lie on the model. And I think it's because the details are just not as sharp as they are in the plastics now. But,
which didn't used to be the case, but definitely is these days.
Yeah.
And
technology is advanced.
I definitely had some of that paint chipping kind of immediately, just from dealing with metal. Even with good enamel primer that's really like bonding and just a couple of the high touch spots.
Yep, that is the worst.
It's nothing worse than doing some repaint touch ups while you're still painting.
Yeah, there was a guy at Adepticon one year, maybe it was LVO, that he was called like the miniature doctor or something like that. And basically, if you had a miniature get broken or damaged or needed a quick touch up, like he would do it. You know, you'd pay him a couple bucks and he'd take care of it, glue it back together for you. And it was a cool idea.
Little miniature ER at the show.
Yep, exactly. That was when Doug Johnson taught me about the glue accelerant, you know, the stuff that you can use to speed up.
Oh yeah, some like zip kicker or something.
Yeah, zip kicker. Yeah, does make it not as strong a bond, but sometimes
it's not quite as strong. But sometimes, really need that speed more. I was definitely employing that for those metal Bushido miniatures I was working on.
Yeah,
because metal really likes to take its time to get that stuff to glue and bond.
There's another cable right here. Thought I was done with the cables, Josh.
You're never done.
I and here's why I'll never be like a Golden Demon painter. Aside from the fact that I'm just not willing to commit the hours to learn that level of painting skill, as much as Caleb always tries to push me to do more, and probably Justin. But there comes a point when I'm painting a model where I just go, and that's enough. Like I'm done. You know, I'm not doing anymore. Oh, good God, there's 4 more cables right here.
And you enjoy participating in that part of the hobby, but you're also here to play games. You're here for the lore. Like you're not.
And I just can't. I can't see myself like putting more into a model at that point. And I'm just like, you know what? I think I'm done.
From a game piece standpoint, there's definitely diminishing returns, right?
Yes.
At a certain point.
Yes. And I find myself starting, and I know when it happens because I find myself starting to cut corners and like I'll do stuff like, oh, I really should paint that a different shade of brown than the shade of brown that is, you know, layered over it or whatever. And then I'm like, you know what, forget it. You know, and then I'll just be like, I'm out of patience even changing the paint I'm using. And that's when I know, okay, I'm towards the end of this model one way or the other.
That's a good sign. Yeah. I mean, there's no way I could. I'm a slow painter, but I do paint a lot of stuff. But like, there's no way I could do one model for 3 months and
the 100 hours, 100 plus hours.
That's it. Yeah,
that's just. I just, oh man,
it's a commitment.
I'll never forget. That first Adepticon that Chelle went to, and then we got to see like Ben Comets and those guys were all there and just like handing us the models and stuff, and you got to see like just how much work they had put into it. And for them it's probably less of a challenge than it is for me, to get it to that point for sure. But man, stuff was gorgeous. That stuff from the Golden Demon this year was insanely cool.
Yeah, it was a really, really good showcase of
Every year,
a
just
huge variety of stuff too.
every year, and I don't think it can get better, and then it does. It's really phenomenal.
People keep pushing.
And techniques get like almost discovered, it seems, or or I wouldn't say necessarily discovered, but they get brought in from other types of artwork and then integrated into miniature painting. Because like if you look at what won Golden Demon even 5 years ago, the difference is immediately noticeable. And now you talk about like 20 years ago, what was winning Golden Demons, the techniques and people using airbrushes, and it's just completely different. It's a completely different game.
Yeah,
for those
absolutely.
Guys.
Interesting thing in person that kind of some of our group was talking about a bit was there's some really cool looking stuff that is just not GW's style.
Yeah.
And how those are kind of it's almost too bad that the artistic expression in some of those ways are less likely to be recognized for the incredible like talent and execution that there were. But then it was looking at some of the other showcases out at Adepticon that were the non-GW ones, like the Marvel Crisis Protocol, for example.
Yeah.
Being so comic book related and people taking these like wildly different approaches, but all comic book styled. So there's like, 3 different Incredible Hulks next to each other.
Sure.
Looking different. Showcasing wildly different style of comic book art was really cool to see.
Yeah. There was another painting contest there, right? Put on by wasn't it put on by the guys that did Creature Caster or something? Am I mistaken? Or Monument Hobbies? Was Monument Hobbies doing one? Somebody was doing another competition because it was not Games Workshop models.
AMG had one that was Star Wars and Marvel Crisis Protocol.
That makes sense.
Like Star Wars Legion and Shatterpoint.
That makes sense.
There were a few other ones going on as well. I wasn't as plugged into those ones, so I'm not sure the specifics on.
The other thing we didn't talk about in the show, which we should have, was did you guys go check out the Old World tournament?
I did not. The timing, unfortunately, didn't match up, but I would have definitely enjoyed.
Yeah, I think I would have thought you would have been all over that.
Yeah, I would have loved to play had my stuff been ready to go, but I was already
committed.
And Legions Imperialis was definitely the driving priority for this trip for me.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like.
As you may have been able to tell from the only thing I've been talking about for the last 3 months.
It's interesting that you needed a palate cleanser from that. And that Bushido was your palate cleanser. That's a game coming out of nowhere for you.
Yeah, I had I had probably seen it at Adepticon last year, but hadn't really looked into it. But yeah, playing the demo game of it and seeing their showcase of they have like the miniatures are pretty incredible.
Oh, they're gorgeous.
And the game there's some really fun things the game does. So for me, and it's not that I needed a palate cleanser per se. I know I definitely phrased it that way. But also Legions Imperialis is in a really good state for me. Like the only thing I physically have left to paint are more infantry, but I also don't really need them from a gameplay standpoint at the moment.
Right. The other game that they have, and I see demoed there at Adepticon all the time, is that is it called Pax Imperialis? It's the like gladiator game. But they have like fantasy creatures in the gladiator arena, but it's very Romanesque.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
Yeah. I didn't talk about all the skirmish stuff that I was checking out on Sunday there, but Steel Rift and Blackout and the Fallout game that James designed, and like there was a lot of just cool stuff to wander around and get inspired. And more than anything, like the palate cleanser for me was like getting excited to get back and work on my skirmish game, which again, like I'm never going to try to publish it.
Right.
But it's like I'm also very happy with how that game plays and would love to pick it up and play it some more just with local friends, or like it would even be fun to take to a con. And I actually took it to a Protospiel con probably 8 years ago, where like that's actually where my Necromunda like 3x3 kind of junk board got its start. Was I built it up for the skirmish game that I had designed and took it to a con to kind of showcase and play test. This was more when I was looking to actually potentially do a self-publish of it. But the logistics of self-publishing a miniature skirmish game were more than I could handle at the time.
I'm gonna stop my desk for a second and restart it because it looks like it's having an issue on the recording.
Freeze up. Oh yeah. You're still moving on my screen.
Yeah, but it says it's the browser there's preventing recording. I don't know what that means. Yeah. Good old technology. Okay. What else you got on your list of things to talk about?
I had a couple just fun questions.
Yeah.
Super serious. And the first one was you've obviously talked a lot about chaos and your love of them on the tabletop and the variety of things that it brings to the table for gameplay with monsters and tanks and marines and the chaos.
You know what? Let me interrupt you a second because I got a text from Dave Taylor who's trying to join the chat, but he says it's set to subscribers only mode. But even though he's subscribed, it's not letting him chat. Is there a way to just quickly solve it? Turn off subscriber only mode. I mean, we recognize that.
Yes. Anyone? Here we go. Cool. See if that fixed it.
All right. Let me ask him. Hold on.
Gotta notice it. It said it turned it off.
That's interesting because. Woohoo! All right, we got Dave.
That could be why several people are not chatting. So, anyway, so please repeat the question you were asking.
So, not from a gameplay standpoint, but from a lore standpoint, which faction of the 40K factions kind of stand out to you, or what do you identify with most from a lore standpoint rather than gameplay?
I like the Ultramarines. and the salamanders, to be honest with you. Like I also dig the space wolves, but the thing is I tend to not like playing marines anymore. Like I played a lot of those Ultramarines that I had, and then I kind of I kind of just got tired of them. And the reason I originally picked them up was because you could play so many with so many different toys. They had so many toys to play with. Gameplay wise, and like the role player in me likes the chaos stuff so much because when I lose, I don't feel bad about losing because I feel like I'm playing the bad guys, even though they're all bad guys. And like in D&D, it's like I always put up monsters to be fought.
Wins. Yeah.
And so for me, the other thing I dig, like with chaos lore wise, like I like the whole idea of like what's the word I'm looking for? Their corruption, like they're profane in their corruption, and I just like being the evil guy. But it's funny because anytime I go to play like a computer role-playing game or something, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna take the evil path, and I'm like, oh, I feel really bad taking the evil path, evil path here. So I can't really pull it off. But I do very much like playing chaos on the table. Like I like being the bad guy on the table.
Jenna said she'd be a tech priest.
Ugh. Ugh. You know,
Would you be what was it, the power washer simulator? Just spraying down dreadnoughts and Thunderhawks all day.
Yeah, that would be my job. I find Power Wash Simulator to be very very relaxing.
It's cathartic.
Yeah.
Nice.
I boy, tech priest. I would have a real problem replacing pieces of me. I remember I remember I got like a tooth removed. I got a tooth removed at one point, and I felt like weird about not being whole. And as stupid as that sounds, it's like I in Cyberpunk, the role playing game, there's this thing called cyber psychosis, which, you know, the more you replace your humanity with metal, like the more cybernetics you get, the less you have empathy, and you kind of go through these difficult changes. And what's funny is, if you look back at the show, The $6 Million Man, like they addressed that. Like that is a big part of the show initially. And even with the Bionic Woman, like she's having difficulty adjusting to not having human pieces to her, you know? So, I think if you were to start replacing pieces of me, I would have a very difficult time with it. If I lost a leg and had to get like a prosthetic leg, it would be a very difficult,
mentally damaged.
Yeah, for me. Yeah, for sure.
It's a big hurdle.
Put the mic a little closer to you, Chelle.
But
yeah,
mental rejection of your bionics. Yeah.
So I don't think I could do that. But I couldn't be a Space Marine either, because look at what they go. You know what? Somebody
they're just getting more in there.
Somebody was just talking about how the 40K universe is like the only universe out there in all the fictional universes that there are, Star Wars and, you know, Lord of the Rings and 40K. 40K is the only one that people are like, I would not want to go there at all. You know? I don't. I would love to go to the Shire.
Yeah, totally. I'll have second breakfast all day.
Yeah.
Or okay. Jenna said that it's the body modification would be hard.
Yeah.
But the exploration vibe is cool.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think they look cool and stuff, but
yeah. They look cool. Their just pursuit of their goal is pretty neat. How dedicated they are to that goal. But
buddy,
so on a similar note to what you just said about not wanting to visit the 40K universe, but also factions you identify with lore. My follow-up question is, if you had to take to the battlefield,
oh god,
you personally were in the 40K universe on the battlefield, who's behind you? Who's backing you up?
Probably a commissar ready to put a bullet in my head.
I mean, that's the most likely case, but you get to choose here if you don't want to be a lowly guardsman.
So who's my backup is what you're saying. Who do I want behind me?
What faction are you leading to battle?
Leading to battle? What
Which group do you think you would kick the most ass with?
Is that the question?
Right?
Yeah. I mean, it's more of the introspection of like who, if like obviously the 40K universe is terrible, but who do you want to fight with? Like who's there? Who are you there with? What cause are you behind?
You know what? I think it would have to be the Salamanders.
Yeah.
Like they are.
Yep.
The like huggable bear of Space Marines. They actually care.
The best of the worst. Yeah.
They care about humanity. They take on their roles as protectors of humanity, you know, very seriously. Whereas even the Ultramarines are more about what's the process and what's our methodology, and okay, yeah, we're gonna have to take all these losses. Like I think the salamanders are probably
Yeah.
Man, I would not want to be in that universe. That would just suck. It would just suck.
I didn't say you had to be Imperial either. Like you could
Oh.
be a Tau fighting for the greater good.
Yeah, that's probably not as good as it sounds either, to be perfectly honest. I've read some Tau books where they're no. Maybe I'd just be an Imperial Guardsman so I could just get it over with real quick.
Oh, yeah. What's that book? 15 hours?
Yeah. Hang on, I'll be right back.
The average life expectancy of a guardsman. Whew. That would get it over quick. Yeah. See. Oh, yep. Jenna says orcs have a lot of fun fighting, and that would actually be a very fun existence. Just scrapping, looting, collecting teeth, having a good time with it.
Well, is Dave still in chat? Dave Taylor?
I think so.
Okay. Dave, we had a fantastic time in your home country. Chelle and I did. I don't know where Dave is from. I don't know what part of Australia Dave is from. I don't know if he's from Perth, Sydney, Melbourne. What's the one everybody hated? Adelaide.
Adelaide.
Yeah. It's so funny. Australians are like you'd be in.
No matter what region.
Yeah,
you're in,
yeah. You'd be in.
They badmouth the other.
They badmouth the other regions. Like you're in Perth, they're like, oh, we came from Sydney. Oh, those people in Sydney, they're terrible. And you go, you're in Sydney, and you're like, well, we just came from Perth. They're like, those people in Perth, And then Melbourne, they're like, oh, Melbourne's just terrible, But then everybody was like, oh, but Adelaide's the worst. Like all of them hated Adelaide. I don't know why.
We didn't go there, so we don't know.
We did not go there.
Okay, so he's basically from Sydney.
Okay.
He's from Newcastle, which is
Yeah. We had the greatest time, Dave. People were so friendly there and just so nice. I even so we went to this island, which Dave, I'm sure, is aware of, Rottnest Island. And on our way back, there was a bunch of construction going on the island. And so we caught the last ferry back, and, all the construction workers are on the ferry. And I saddle up to the bar there to get a drink, and one of the guys just strikes up a conversation with me because he hears my accent when I order, oh, where are you from? And I'm from California. And oh yeah, and blah, 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 what are you doing here? And I'm telling him the whole story, and I tell him, man, everybody was just so nice. Everybody's been so nice. And his buddy next to him goes, that's just because you haven't met me yet, And then I'm like, yo, they were all nice until this guy. But they were just so friendly. Like, I don't think we had a bad interaction with anybody.
No. I mean, their version of TSA was a little cranky.
That one time.
I don't even remember which airport.
That one time. The rest of the time,
we went to so many airports.
9 flights in 3 weeks. But the rest of the time, like even the airport people were super duper friendly. Like when we first got there and we were gonna have to go through customs.
Yeah.
And like the guy came around to everybody waiting and he's like, do you have anything to declare? And we're like, well, we have this and that. And he's like, oh yeah, that's fine. And he goes, just go through here. They're like, okay. So
so Dave's actually lived in Adelaide, so maybe he could tell us why.
So why does everybody hate it, Dave? I thought Melbourne was nice. Yeah. I thought the Sunshine Coast was
humid.
That was the word, humid, super hot and humid. But man, the zoo was super cool. You know what? Josh?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm kind of done. Except for the flag thing I want to do.
Look at that thing about 8 times. I'm sure you're gonna find
I just
something you've missed.
Just saw something else I want to touch up. Just put a little touch on this. It's fine. It's I could put this on the table and be happy with it at this point. I
I could get away with that.
It is looking good. Yeah, that the red, black, and gold combo. Hard to go wrong with.
It's an easy combo. I was thinking about that because I'm once again, prior to this, I did Ultramarines, which are the poster boys of the Space Marines. At least that's what people call them. And now I'm doing kind of the
if you buy into that propaganda.
Now I'm kind of doing the poster boys, the chaos stuff. But I like it. I don't feel like back when I did the Ultramarines, like nobody else was really doing Ultramarines at that point. But now
Reboot Gilliman had not been released as a model yet, and now everybody's an Ultramarine.
Now everybody's an Ultramarine. Prior to that, everybody was a Salamander, especially 5th edition.
Yeah.
Oh, look at my blue painted salamanders.
Yeah, hey, my salamanders were actually green with flames.
Yours were.
That's okay.
Yeah, you were actual salamanders. But everybody wanted to take advantage of Vulcan giving twin-linked flamers and Melta to everything. And boy, did they. We had such a great time in Australia. People were friendly. We got to hang out with couple listeners and stuff. Like I talk about it on the show a bit, but we'll record like an hour-long episode, Josh, that we can just release to the Patreon. Just going over the vacation stuff. I didn't want to put that on the main content, but it was a fantastic time. I'm really glad we did it. I'm really sorry we missed Adepticon, but we'll be there next year.
You just gotta go twice as hard next year.
Oh God! I don't think that's.
See if you can lose your voice in 8 hours instead of 16.
I don't think that's the answer.
I'm sure I will. Man, that dryness just crushed my voice.
I was glad to hear that you guys, meaning you and Jody, set aside time to just not do anything. I think that is such an important part. I know Adon goes like super hard, right? He's always like, I'm going to a class. Now I'm going to another class. And I always feel like for me, it's really the socializing and hanging out and getting to see people that I haven't seen in a while and that kind of stuff and if you're booked solid, you miss out on that.
So when I was bummed that I had to drop out of Titanicus on Thursday because of my the work shoot, but at the same time, I was feeling overcommitted. I was already going to have a hard time transporting everything there. Taking 3 different game systems across country is a tricky feat with check bags and models and things like that. Sure. But yeah, just having a full day to wander around and take everything in, check out skirmish games, just talk to people. Like, I ended up running into Dave a bunch of times throughout the con and chatting with him and talking to James with the Fallout game and meeting Gav and chatting with Gav and
that's right.
It was a great time. Yeah.
That's right. Gav's a really nice guy.
Dave and I still need to reschedule our game for the next con we cross paths at. But aside from that, Sunday was just an absolute great day of wandering and chatting and catching up and hanging out and taking it all in and seeing what's out there. And I didn't buy a ton of stuff at the con, but got to experience so much and.
Right.
Just
you said something there that struck a nerve with me, but then I started focusing on what I was painting. I have had, like, you had dropped out of that event that you guys started, right? The team. Which one was it called?
The Longboar doubles.
Yeah. I have gone there and dropped out of events as well. And I've never really regretted it, right? Like there's events that I've definitely stuck with and been like, this, I'm not going to miss.
Not going to miss this for anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially a Space Hulk, right?
Right. Yeah.
And then there are events that I'm just like not having the time I was expecting in the event. I've stuck it out through some of them, you know. I mean, especially if they like a lot of times I'll ask the tournament organizer if they have an even number of people. Like if people are dropping, it's like I don't want to leave the tournament organizer hanging if my leaving causes
Right.
them to have an
Yeah.
odd number of players.
Have to scramble. And
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
don't do that. I usually kind of, and I don't just vanish. Like I talk to them before I go anywhere.
You officially dip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one was all through what do you call it? Best Coast pairings. So it was all
Yep.
through the app. So you could actually withdraw through the app that way.
Oh, that's nice.
And since we honestly dropping out and then just playing that super fun game with Aaron and Adon, and then that dinner that we all ended up having afterwards was like it was such a great kind of capstone to that day. That was a pretty rough start.
Yeah. Yeah.
But was
Especially
still
with you
a,
losing your voice right away and all that.
Yeah, I was like one game in, and there's my voice. There it goes.
I just found some more cables, by the way. God damn it! I turned it over, and I was like, oh no.
Well, now what you got to do is start doing some like hazard striping on those cables. So that
No. I am at the point in my paint schemes where I'm now doing that's just
Less is more.
That's gonna get some. It's right. Well, see, that's why you get me, Chelle. Just gonna put a little bit of
sometimes
color on
more
there.
is also more.
It's true.
You are not helping. All right, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm committed to, because I feel like I'm at the point where I can put this on the table, and I'm very happy with it.
Nice.
Like
Yeah.
the cables I'm painting are truly underneath the model. It's like you're not gonna see these cables. I'm committed to doing this work. Oh, crap, there's more cables. For the next hour, because then we're done with our hobby time, and then that's it. I'm calling them done, except for the old decal I want to put on the flag here.
You're gonna do a gloss varnish before applying the decal.
Nope. Don't need it.
Oh, interesting.
Don't
For
need it.
that kind of bend and texture to it.
Just dump a ton of microset and microsol in there. It'll be great. It'll be great.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
Excuse me. All right. What other questions did you come up with prior to the show?
I was focusing all on lore interaction stuff. So the next question I had would be if you were able to write the fate or rewrite the fate of one kind of main character, or we could even say chapter or faction in 40K, what would that be and why? And what would you do with it?
Why would I want to change the fate of, like, some of them,
or determine the fate? Like you want to kill off
Well,
Sanguinius, or like, oh
yeah,
it
you
already
know,
happened.
that's
Let's bring him back.
That's an interesting point. Like a lot of the Marines are going through the Rubicon and then becoming primarisized and all that. I think, and I've said this before, I think Games Workshop missed out on an opportunity to kill off some of these guys and create new characters, right? And I know that's hard to do because people are attached to stuff like Mephiston and Calgar, right? People are attached to those models and they have them, but I feel like Games Workshop missed out on a couple things here. One, just like I missed out on that cable right there. One,
Nice tie-in.
I think they could have taken a bold step and in advancing the lore, remove some of the chaos or loyalist, characters that have been around a long time. And it's just like if you're going to advance the timeline, advance the timeline, and not everybody gets to survive that. So and then replace them with new, like create new things,
In a war-torn universe, not a lot of these characters are actually dying.
Yeah, I mean, heck, as much as I love Abaddon, right? Like, it would have been kind of cool if he'd completed ripping the galaxy in half. But if they had said, "Oh, and he dies as a result of that," I'd have been like, "Okay." And they're like, "Oh, and now there's like these." They create like 4 other warlords, that are now like battling to become like. That'd be kind of a cool like little story there. Not to say you can't create that yourself, but I mean, they clearly leaned into Abaddon and gave him a new. But I mean, imagine that. Like, imagine the reaction to them doing something like that. Sure, some people would have been upset, but I mean, we all get over this. Like, we all get over it. They just got rid of a ton of the Stormcast Eternal stuff, and I know people are just losing their mind over it right now, but I promise you a year from now they will not be talking about it, and they will have either left the hobby, which they're not going to, not based on that change, or they will have moved on. And there's things they got rid of I wish they hadn't, but okay, that's where we are. I'm not, I'll get over it.
Life goes on.
Life goes on, and the game moves and changes, and just like everything else.
Yeah. The only constant is change, as
that's
they
right.
say. And the human condition is to dislike change.
Yeah, imagine for sure. For sure. So going back to the original, like, who would you like to, like, I think they should have just done away with Calgar, Marnius Calgar.
Yep, he pretty much got
well, I mean, he
got replaced by
Gilliman.
Gilliman, so yep.
I mean, okay, nobody's.
Do you really need a chapter master if you've
nobody's taking
nobody's
taking Marnius Calgar right now. But story wise, I mean, it's like every one of these named heroes that's crossed the Rubicon survives, and it's supposed to be dangerous and deadly. It's not if you got plot armor.
Right. Yeah.
So okay.
Plot armor.
So kind of
1-up save.
Riffing off of that. Well, who would you like to have seen?
I'm actually not entirely sure. For me, if I'm going gameplay, like, I would love Tyberos to still exist in game.
Yep.
And he is absolutely still in the lore. He just is kind of irrelevant on the table, which is a little disappointing, but that's okay. I don't really play with named characters that much, anyways. From a lore standpoint, I don't necessarily have an answer.
I'm calling this guy done. I'm sure I've missed the cable somewhere, but you know what? If I can't see it looking this hard, you're not going to see it when I'm playing it.
I'm other specifically call it out next time I throw it out. Like,
yeah,
if you don't, I will.
You do that.
Looks like you missed the cable, Carl.
Yeah. The other thing I still think they missed out on this, I know this is a controversial take too, is I think they missed out on changing some of the lore with the Primaris Marines to allow them to include women. I think they could have easily just said at that point, well, the method for creating Primaris Marines resolves the issue that the previous method had that didn't allow for a female body to change to this. And it could have been really interesting. Like some of the female Stormcast Eternal models they've done are freaking awesome. And it's not, they didn't even need to change. Like it's a simple change of lore. The Grognards would have got upset about it. But I mean, it's a logical solution to it. If you're changing everything at that point, change that too.
And somebody like Dave could probably answer this better than I can, but there are old metal Space Marine female models.
Yeah.
Which I assume are Rogue Trader. I actually don't recall how they were in the game terms. And I'm actually curious. I completely agree that is absolutely a missed opportunity.
It would have been cool.
And I wonder if that's more from just a like SKU rationalization standpoint at this point.
That's a very
so many Marine kits that it just doesn't make sense to make more. But
you just make heads. I mean, the armor doesn't need to be different.
Yeah,
but it would also
really doesn't matter.
But it would also lend the opportunity to create some very unique armored characters. Like like Mephiston's armor doesn't look like a typical Space Marine's armor,
right? Yeah.
And so you could create some really cool, I think, conversions there. Due to hardware limitations. There's something with this laptop. It doesn't.
We got Jody in the house.
All right.
Welcome, Jody. And Dave says, "Yep, they were pre-Rogue Trader for the."
Yeah, I kind of thought so. Yeah. That's back when Marnius Calgar was a space pirate or something. I think that was his deal. Yeah, I really wish they'd taken that step. I really wish they had taken that leap and gone ahead and just said, yeah, we're going to do this. Oh man. What's the comic that comes out that's like the newspaper thing. And they show, nobody knows who's writing it, but it'll like be like this headline and it looks like a newspaper article. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
Dave?
The Inquirer.
The Inquirer.
The war game Inquirer.
Something like that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I'm blanking on the name though.
Oh my god, I can just imagine. Like, I'm not generally what you'd call like a disturber of the peace, but I would have really liked to have seen the fallout of them suddenly embracing, like, you know what, with this new version of Space Marine, you can have females. Like, I don't think it's a big deal, but like, people would have lost their minds. It would have been awesome.
What was in the Golden Demon this year?
There was a metal female Space Marine in the Golden Demon case.
Oh, was there really?
Yeah.
Awesome. Tabletop Inquirer. That's it.
Tabletop Inquirer.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is the funniest. Sometimes they have the funniest headlines in there. It is sometimes so clever. It blows my mind.
You know, those are the articles that I read and remind me of Chelle's new Shellism of that's weird.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Just all of those so obvious stuff that they're calling out and calling people out on their ridiculous
Tabletop Inquirer. It's so good.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna, you know what? I'm moving to the microset and microsolve here. Microset, that goes first. You know how I know? Because it has a 1 there and it has a 2 there.
It's got a 1. And you've been using it enough times recently.
No, I have to go back and look every time.
You look for that number 1 every time. Okay.
There is certain information that just does not stick in my head, and that is something that I just am not committing to my head. Here we go.
That's what labels are for.
That's right. Chelle, can you do me a favor?
Yep.
There should be an X-Acto blade, a hobby knife up there on that desk. If you could bring that over here. So what else do I have going on? The dealing with and Dave probably knows this, dealing with the jet lag from Australia has just been murder on both of us. Like, I've traveled to Europe a lot and come back, and there's a bit of jet lag there, but man, this is unreal. Like, we got back
8
Saturday
hours to 17 hours is a big difference.
we got back Saturday morning at 2. We got to the house at 2:30, and
It was Friday.
what was it?
Yep.
It was Australian.
No,
Saturday.
we arrived here.
On
s-
Thursday the 4th.
yeah, no,
Oh,
on
you're right.
Thursday.
You're right.
And it
you're
ended
right.
up being Friday
we
at
got back
2 a.m.
Yeah. See, I can't even keep that straight. And I'm still not sleeping correctly, and I've tried staying up late and the whole 9 yards. Not working. This is going to be tricky. I have a feeling I'm going to screw this first one up. Could give it a go. Yeah, man, I'm having the roughest time with it.
I thought I was almost caught up.
I
and
thought
then-
you were too, and then
well,
last
I just
night,
couldn't sleep last night.
yeah, really got you.
Mm. There's always one more.
Yeah, there's always one.
Yeah, that sounds about right, Dave.
What did he say?
Imagine when you arrive back in country after a 15-hour flight that you have a 2-hour layover and then another 6 hours across the country.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No thanks. Thank God I came to the West Coast and that was it. But man, that was, yeah. And we missed flight. We missed a connecting flight, so we even stayed longer.
It ended up being a 4-hour layover
Yeah, 4-hour layover. It's kind of brutal.
and then another 7-hour flight.
5.
It was
5.
It was 5. So
Yeah.
you're right.
Hawaii to here is 5. But yeah, it was rough.
Bonus
Man.
night in Hawaii.
That was on the way
That was
there.
on the way, yeah, on the way there, which was
Yeah.
pretty sweet. I'm not complaining about that.
No.
That was a-okay. I don't know. Chelle doesn't do great with changing plans on the fly.
Little impromptu stopping halfway. Well, I guess it's a quarter way around the world there.
I'm not a good traveler.
That's not true. You've gotten a lot
I
better.
am better than I used to be.
Yeah. But you do not do well when the plans change, or like you were kind of stressed out about the whole missing the flight. And I don't know if it was you were concerned about my reaction to missing the flight, or you were
Yes.
okay.
I mean, it was
I was annoyed.
yes to all of it,
Okay.
right?
Right.
I have an anxiety trigger.
Yeah. Well, that
Never frustration, whether it's mine or others.
Yeah.
Pez says, FYI for Carl,
yes.
Cyberpunk Red Combat Zone features the Maelstrom and the Tiger Claws in the starter.
Okay. All right. I think I got it.
Classic cyber. Oh, Carl, your comments on lack or dislike of potential body modification
Yes.
for Mechanicum cybernetic implants. Did you ever play much in the way of Shadowrun?
No, I didn't play Shadowrun. You know, at the time that Shadowrun was out and kind of hitting, for us it was Cyberpunk that we were playing, and a friend of mine named Dave also very much did like Shadowrun, but we never really got into it. I think the less fantasy and more hardcore sci-fi of Cyberpunk appealed to us a bit more.
Yeah. Okay. Just curious.
I am curious to play that skirmish game that Jody bought, though. Almost back to that Kickstarter.
Yeah,
Came out pretty good.
I'll check that one out as well when it was funding.
Okay.
Okay. More jet bikes.
It's on there.
If any of you guys hobbing along while we do this are interested and have mic and camera set up, we would happily be able to port you in for a bit if you want to
Whoop,
showcase what you're working on.
We'll pull you in.
Or say just send a message in Discord or let us know here, and I'll send you a link on Discord. It's probably the best way.
All right, I'm loving it. Loving it. All right.
Finding more cables.
No, I'm calling him. I'm calling it. I'm calling
Calling it good.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep. I had done, he was 85, 90% of the way there when I started today. So, well, okay, wait a minute. There's one more thing I gotta do. I'm going to do a glowing effect on the weapon he has here on the front, the little beam weapon or whatever. I think it's a Melta weapon if I remember correctly. So I'll give it my little green plasma glow that I've been doing for the rest of the Chaos Army. That'll look pretty cool. That'll offset it a little bit too.
Yeah. The green plasma it contrasts so nicely with the gold and the black.
Yeah, it's working pretty good. It's working pretty good.
This is a good choice. Are you doing any like heat patina on plasma or not plasma? Sorry, Melta.
Sometimes, yeah.
So,
if I'm not giving it a glowing effect already,
yeah,
kind of overwrites that. So,
makes sense.
Yeah, I do like doing that effect. And I kind of stole it from Dave Paints, the way he does some of this stuff. So, but yeah, this guy's interesting. It's an interesting model. I don't know how often I'll really use it. Like I have him with that one list of guys, but that's also why I've been looking at Vashtor, the Arcaphane, right? I think that'd be kind of an interesting, a demon engine themed kind of list. He'd go well with that.
I got the three sprues of everything I didn't use for that Titan conversion right behind.
Did you use his torso?
I did not.
That's actually what I really want to see because what I wanted to do was I don't like the legs of Vashtor very much.
Okay. I've got the legs, the torso, the giant hammer. That is a pretty cool hammer.
Yeah, the hammer's cool.
Some of the like smokestacks.
I'm probably going to end up buying one, but this would be very useful for this would be very useful for like experimenting on what I'm trying to do, because I think what I'm going to try to do is I have a bunch of those tentacles from the Mauler Fiends that I didn't use, and I'm going to try to heat them up. I've never tried this to this extent before, so this may be a complete disaster. But I want to kind of try to heat them up and bend them a bit so that I can make his body just like a body of tentacles instead of legs, and have him like on a snake-like of tentacle thing. I did see
Brian Harvey did. He used Necron Wraiths and all their like spindly bodies as the basis for some of his Talos paint engines in his Dark Templar, and it worked really, really well. I
think they're not big enough for this guy.
They're probably not. Those are some big Dinobots.
There is a creature caster mini that has a really cool like snake-like body of tentacles. But I'm not.
Just get that resin fulgrim and then just stick a Dinobot on top.
Oh, is that it? Just buy that expensive ass resin fulgrim and then ruin it. That beautiful model. You're out of your mind. God, that is a gorgeous model.
Was the joke.
I know. Hang on, I'm trying to find this one. Here she is. The Mechanitrix. And I don't know if I can share my screen here. Can I? Oh, I can.
You should be able to.
Yeah, there it is.
I don't know if it'll take over the full screen or just your camera, but yeah, share away.
Window. Oh, let me switch over to her. It's the first time I've tried sharing through this app. Oh, here we go. Okay. Whoa, that was not what I intended to do. Boom.
Whoa, sweet infinity shot.
Can you see her now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, this is the model, and I really love
Oh, yeah.
the base here is
Yeah.
really cool. So that would be kind of neat. But I mean, again, this is $100 conversion, to
Yeah.
do. And I don't know if the torso is the right torso. Like I would get rid of everything above this waist. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd remove no arms, no nothing. I even don't like the blades that kind of stick out of the side here. I'd do something else there. But then put Vashtor's torso on here, I think would be really cool. But I don't know if it lines up well enough. Okay, I'm gonna go back and you're gonna get an infinity shot. Try this.
Sweet infinity shot.
Stop. There we go. So I think that would be super cool, but I don't know if it fits correctly. So
yeah.
It's a neat.
Do you
looking
have
model.
you still have or had those green stuff tentacle molds?
Yeah, I do. But
You
they
could
look
do something with just a ton of those also.
Yeah, and that's my other thought there too. I have the green stuff tentacle maker.
Yeah.
Which allows it creates more organic type of tentacles. But you could mix those in with the mechanical looking ones from the Mauler fiends. I don't know. I don't know how well I can bend those things to my need, so we'll see. I'll play around with it. I'll play around with it.
Yeah. If you got extras, it's worth playing around with and have fun with it.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to check out. I'll say another thing you could use is some like thick gauge bass guitar strings.
Yeah, that's true too.
Because they have that cool kind of
that looks like a mechanical kind of
about the right scale for something like that. Yeah,
that's true too. Yeah,
and if you're doing something similar that has that big like column in the middle, you could give something that has a lot of support that you can like glue and
build around, right? Yeah, that's exactly
textured things. Yeah,
that's exactly right. I mean, maybe I could make that out of what's that stuff that Justin uses for basing? Milliput. Yeah, it might be the right answer there. I'm not very good at that kind of thing, like sculpting. Like this would be really going outside of my comfort zone. So, but Justin is pretty good at that kind of stuff. So I could probably get some help from him if I needed it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I know Jody uses a decent amount of that kind of stuff for basing as well, or has in the past at least. Yeah, my inclination would go for something like the bass guitar strands, just so I'm not.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea either.
Molding and modeling them, but
I'd want them all kind of twisted in amongst each other as well. So again, this is not an urgent project for me. Like right now, I'm just focused on getting this done. Now I have 3 more demon engines to do, and then I'm done with this stage and moving on. And 2 obliterators, 3 demon engines.
The first time we play, I'm going to say Dinobots assemble.
That's right. Roll out.
My best Optimus Prime impersonation.
That's right. I do like some of that creature caster stuff. They do some pretty neat models.
Yeah. Some really cool alternate sculpts, especially.
Yeah. I really like the lower torso of her. She is really neat. The rest of it I could do without. I'm not a huge fan of the rest of it.
If you end up picking up that model, I'll take the top half. I would happily make a Transcendent Satan out of that.
Oh, yeah?
That top torso. Yeah.
What does she cost? Let's take a look here. Oof. Oh, my gosh. Oh, that's Canadian. So that's like pennies on the dollar, right?
Oh, that's like free. Dave just said in the comments that Dragonforge designs have guitar strings cast in white metal, which are much easier to bend and keep in shape compared to like proper bass strings.
Let me take a look at those.
That's probably exactly what you need.
If there's somebody in the chat that knows how to do this, it is that guy right there.
Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure he literally wrote the book.
Yeah. Oh, Dave, that's actually what your next book should be. Is all about conversions. That would be an amazing book. Like how to, like, different examples of conversions and where to go to get ideas for not ideas, but like resources for making those conversions. That could be a book in itself. That would be something I would buy.
Yeah,
without a
I'd
doubt.
buy that.
I'd buy that for $1. Okay, resin based miniature accessories, playing star, flight stands. Oh, they have flight stands. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Flight stands Dragon Forge design has. Special items. Let me do a search. I don't see the things he's talking about. If they're here, I'll find them though. Anyway, that's a great idea though. That would seriously be a cool book. Just examples of conversions people have done and you know where they got ideas, where they got materials for doing them.
Yeah.
And especially if you did some
where to source stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you did some that were like kind of basic conversions to like way more advanced conversions, right? Like if it was just a book of like, here's the conversions, but I had to sculpt all this stuff, it'd be like, oh, that's not going to work out so well.
Yeah.
But I think I found the thing he was talking about. But if it were, you know, hey, here's how you do basic conversions, here's how you do,
and like terrain especially, which everybody needs except for Carl, who has too much.
Yeah, and you.
I also have a lot.
You have a lot of terrain, especially for Necromunda.
Yeah. My next few months are mostly going to be Necromunda terrain.
I can help paint some of it.
Nice. Yeah, I gotta build up the rest of my Underhive Zone Mortalis stuff.
I've got a whole box of that too. I have a whole box of it. Yep.
Ooh, okay. I am getting the final bits of my tiles, so I'm going to be doing some cool modular, a second modular board to go with
plus I've got all that Forge World Zone Mortalis.
You've got Zone Mortalis for days.
That we can use, and it's been painted, you know, by Brian Harvey, so it looks fantastic.
Yeah, that stuff looks good. Speaking of terrain and conversions, this is for Dave again. Did you build the Fallout board that James Hewitt and Budifius were running the demos on at Adepticon? It was a really cool looking board, and I believe somebody had mentioned that was a Dave project.
I just started watching the first couple episodes of Fallout on Amazon.
Oh, I didn't realize it's out.
It just came out yesterday.
Okay.
And it's pretty good. If you like the game, you probably like the show.
I'm not super up to speed on the story because it's been
you don't need to be
10, 15 years.
You don't need to be. It's a whole new story. Oh, excuse me, but it's pretty darn. They did a really good job. They did a really good job. And it's got
start out in the vault and
yep. Well, there's like 3 different characters it's following. 4 different characters it's really following.
Okay,
so,
cool. Neat.
And one of them is a vault dweller.
Yeah, you gotta have.
And then one's a ghoul, played by Walter Goggins, who, if you ever watched Justified, Walter Goggins is fantastic. Or The Shield, he was in The Shield as well. And then, and the Righteous Gemstones, he's in that too, which I haven't really watched much of. And then it's following another guy who's part of the Brotherhood of Steel, which is There's a
I've
lot of
seen
humor.
that.
There's a lot of humor to like Fallout's always a bit tongue in cheek,
Right. Yeah.
and this is in line with that, very much so.
Nice.
All right. Well,
Let's
I'm
get,
super happy I've got this guy done. I'm gonna go
until you
grab
find
the
more
other guy.
cables.
No, shut up. I'm gonna go grab the. Hold on.
Oh, cool. Dave said he did build that Fallout board, which is like a really cool looking board that they were running the demo on. The Nuka Cola guy and the Nuke World and all that. Yeah, it was really nicely done, Dave. That was a great looking board, and even the vehicles on it and the overhangs and everything, just beautiful attention to detail. Okay.
Now it's not cables. Now it's back to gold trim. Back to gold trim
You found more trim?
and flesh. Oh, this is all on these guys here. Josh,
Yep. So you're just reset the clock back
Yep.
to trim and your nice fleshy, organic,
right.
metallic meat
right.
points, which you are such a fan of.
But you know what? Once I've done this, I'm done. Like
That's right.
that's kind of what I'm telling myself. And so I just got to push through.
Is
Push through.
painting these feeling more like an obligation than
No. Still,
like you obviously made the themed list intentionally.
yeah, I think it's still enjoyable, and I think the list will be fun to play once I can actually get it on the table and stuff. So, you know, I'm all for it, man. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be good stuff. It's gonna be great. Might as well do some of this while I'm winding down now. Yeah, all I gotta do is airbrush the glowing effect on that guy, and I'm calling him done. And you know, there's nothing nicer. There's no greater feeling than, well, there is, but it's a pretty great feeling to you know, then finish a model and put it in the cabinet next to the rest of the army, you know, and you kind of step back and look and go, yeah, you know, it's another one done.
Yeah. No, seeing everything that you've done this year in your cabinet all together yesterday was like, oh no, it looks really great, super cohesive, nicely done, and you've done a lot.
I've been jamming through it. Yep.
Yeah. Been motivated, been chasing it.
Seriously. And again, I mean, we've said this on the show before, but progress really drives you to do more. You know, as soon as you start making progress, you know, it kind of builds on itself. So if you're having problems getting motivated doing stuff, you got to just knuckle down, get one done. And next thing you know, you'll be like, oh, I'm going to do another one.
Yeah. I'll find if I'm hung up, I'll actually just like reduce the batch size. So instead of painting 5 miniatures, I'm painting, you know, like let's just get one done. And then after that one, it's like, well, now I only have 4 to go. And I know what I need to do. I figured out all the steps already and can just bust them out.
There were so many nights I was painting and I was like, I'm just going to do the red on this dude's cloak, then I'm going to bed. And then I would like do the red and I'd be like, well, maybe I'll just do this other little thing right here, you know. And then next thing you know, it was like 3 hours later. I'm like, well, the model's done, you know. Like, okay. But I never felt bad about that. Like I felt like, oh, cool, I got it done.
But when you get in that zone, like you get that kind of state of flow, and
Yeah.
time just flies by, and stuff gets done.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, he's coming along pretty good. The army. I'm just excited to have 2,000 points I can play
Yeah,
with some variable stuff in there.
with options.
Yep.
Getting shavings all over myself.
What else is going on? So back from Australia, we've got plans for our next show, which is we haven't announced yet, but we can say here we're doing another collectibles. I think I mentioned that earlier, but like rare 40K items that we'll do kind of a show and tell and share some.
Part 2.
We're probably going to do a couple more of these before we run out of things to share. So we'll do that. Then after that, our plan is Necromunda Orlocks. We're going to get Dan involved in that discussion and probably Jody. So that'll be cool. And if we have it done right, we're going to have some new studio stuff at that point, which I won't talk about until we actually get it done, because I don't want to promise something and then have not deliver.
We're certainly going to try it before then, but
yeah, for sure.
Hopefully it works out.
The big piece, I don't know if you saw my text, but the big piece we're waiting for arrives tomorrow. Like it was supposed to be like the 15th or 16th, but then I got a message that it's UPS is delivering it tomorrow.
Nice.
Sweet.
Okay.
Plus a board game's delivering very shortly here, which is by Flying Frog Productions, the same guys that do what's the Wild West game we play?
Shadows of Brimstone.
Shadows of Brimstone. They had another game that's been unavailable forever, that came up for they did a new printing of it. Yeah, called I don't remember what it's called, but it's like a pulp. It's like a pulp adventure kind of game. What the heck is it called? Drawing a blank. Well, it'll be here in a couple of days, and then we'll know what it's called. Then we'll know what it's called, babe. That's arriving soon.
Nice. Is that a similar kind of campaign game like Shadows of Brimstone?
I don't believe so. Hang on. Let me look up what the game's called.
Shadows of Brimstone's a pretty big game.
It's a ridiculously big game that Matt Weeks got me into. Oh, Fortune and Glory is the name of the game. And it's kind of like a pulp. It's called the Cliffhanger Game. Late 1930s, the world's in turmoil. Humanity is on the brink of war as the imperialist nations of the Far East and Europe work aggressively to expand their domination. The Nazis have taken control of Germany, now spread darkness across the globe. But the spirit of adventure and freedom won't be stamped out easily. Heroic adventurers from around the world answer the call. I have a feeling it's kind of similar in vein of in terms of a lot of cards and that kind of thing, but I don't think it's identical to.
Interesting.
Weird,
kind of a weird war vibe to it.
Yeah, more like a kind of Indiana Jones-ish.
A little
pulp
alternate
kind of
history.
Yeah,
pulp. Yeah.
It's supposed to be pretty good. It's been sold out forever, so I jumped on the chance to get it a few months ago, and now it's finally delivering.
Probably a good sign that it's a fun game.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, copies were selling for crazy amounts on eBay, so it's probably pretty good.
Sounds like we need to put a geek in together for this year.
Oh boy, that's all I need to organize.
Should do it now while you're jet lagged still.
Is that a fact?
That's the way to do it. And you just don't care.
Well, I gotta find a job, so I don't know. Anybody in chat going to Nova Open? Dave Taylor, are you going to be at Nova Open?
Dave said he's going.
Okay, good. We will be there. Chelle and I will be there, so that will be cool.
I
See
will
Dave.
wish I was there, but
Yeah,
not this year.
yeah, we're just going. Primarily, I'm going to help the Tableware Charities booth. And Todd's gonna play in some 40K stuff, so he needs somebody to man the booth. So I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll come out and do it. So it's a good cause, Tableware Charity. So I'm happy to help out there. So that should be cool. At least I'll get to see a bunch of people. I gotta reach out to Jeff and hopefully convince Jeff to at least come out and have dinner with us or something.
I think he's only like an hour flight, or
I think he can
I
drive.
think it's a drive.
Yeah, it's
Well,
definitely drivable.
Williamsburg,
It's like
Virginia,
a 3-hour drive or something.
compared to driving.
So last time when we were over there for their wedding, I think I ended up flying down, but I definitely looked at maybe I did just drive down, because my grandparents used to live in Arlington, which is
That's right.
right next to where Nova happens, and just DC adjacent.
Yeah. All right. Well, what are we looking at here time-wise? We're almost done. Is there any other topics we wanted to cover for today? I think that's it.
I had one more question, which
Fire
I guess
away.
we have not addressed, and that is there a novel or series of novels in, I would say, any Games Workshop, doesn't have to be 40K specific, but just have had the greatest impact or effect on you?
Chelle, you want to
Either
answer
for
that
your-
for you?
It's Night Lords.
The Night
Yeah.
Lords for you?
Yeah. Yeah, Aaron's Night Lords for me.
Yeah.
Is there anything specific about the Night Lord novels?
Yeah, what is
'Cause
it about
they're,
those
They're
that-
not great guys, but
I think that's why I like them. Is they're not great guys, but you feel
She's a-
attached to them anyway.
Look, she's married to me. She's attracted to bad boys.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
CJ.
No, it's that they're not good guys, but there's somehow he's able to make you attached to them and root for them and like be fascinated with their lives and choices.
Yeah.
He does do a good job of
Yeah.
that. Yeah, so man, I'm a huge fan of John French's Armin stuff.
Yeah, that's good too. That was really
I
good too.
really enjoy his Armin stuff. But I think the single most impactful for me has been the Black Legion series by Aaron as well.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm rereading that right now.
It's
Very,
so
very
flipping good. Yeah. And I mean, honestly, that's probably why I'm doing a Black Legion army.
Yeah.
You know, so
Bringing it to life, bringing the lore to life on the table.
yeah, I really, really enjoy those books. In fact, I should go back and do them again after I finish Ragnar Blackmane here, which I did not realize Aaron had written. So I will.
Yeah, I have not read that one, but
Nor have I.
I know Space Wolves are kind of love them or hate them faction, but the
I love
books
'em.
I have read that revolve around them have all been a lot of fun for me.
I love them. I mean, yeah, there's a bit of silliness to it. There's just a bit of silliness to the whole game. If we're being
Even
honest.
though they came to Prospero and beat up my boys, I think they're still fun.
I really dig them. I don't know what it is that appeals to me about them. I just think they're pretty cool. One of the books that I really enjoyed is one of the Space Marine battle books. Was called Battle of the Fang, and I think Chris Raitt wrote that book. And like the Thousand Suns come back and basically attack the Fang.
Yeah, it's post and that's Magnus is leading the fight, right? With that?
Yeah. And that is a really great book, and I think that book made me really interested in the Space Wolves as a 40K force and something that I thought I'd be interested in. And so it had basically, those two forces. It had the Space Wolves and the Thousand Suns, which I love the Thousand Suns. And to that point, Doug, before his passing, was working on, as I said, a Space Wolf army, specifically to, like, he has a video up, which he goes on for like 40 minutes in this crazy video he created with green screens and all this stuff about why he's decided to do Space Wolves. And so
getting that rivalry going.
Yeah. And so I've kept that army, what he had of it done, because I think that has probably the most impact emotionally, and it's cool. And, maybe I'll expand on that at some point, but for now, honestly, it's this and then Sisters of Battle. So, well, I think we're going to sign off. I've gotten everything done that I needed to get done. And Chelle and I we got reservations for dinner. So I think
I'm just about to wrap up my third jet bike here.
Now your objective here is to get these Eldari done before you said the U.S. Open up in Tacoma, Washington.
The Eldar Combat Patrol specific. So it'll be small force, but hoping to have this all built and painted up before. And that's end of July, Tacoma Open.
Yeah, I'm not. Washington. One of the reasons I didn't sign up. Well, okay, so I've signed up for the narrative. The ticket's refundable, so I got to see, what the situation is in terms of flights and stuff, but in the cost of those. But I didn't. You said, hey, did you sign up for the combat patrol thing? The combat patrol force for Chaos Space Marines is terrible. Like, it's just not how I like to play Chaos Space Marines. It doesn't have it's a bunch of cultists, and like, I think when I looked at the build, I was like, oh, this is not something I would enjoy playing. So that's kind of one of the reasons I steered away from that too. So
which makes sense if you going for the narrative and taking Chaos with you, not to take two separate armies.
Yeah. So anyway, that's it. So that's it for me. I'm gonna sign off. Josh, thank you so much for doing all the hosting here.
Absolutely. Oh, it's always a pleasure. Good time spent. Good hobby progress made.
I definitely made some good hobby progress. Thank you everybody who joined and said hi. And if you haven't joined, you're now watching this recorded afterwards. Well, thanks for hanging out with us for a while. So until next time, which will probably be in 2 weeks or so. We'll
couple weeks,
so the episode's going to drop the 15th. 235 of the show is dropping the 15th. If you're a Patreon member, you already got access to it. And we've already got our next episode planned, and the episode after that planned. So I think we're in good shape.
Thanks for giving. Oh, we got a quick question from Jody here.
Yeah.
Are you thinking about the Thousand Suns or Chaos Space Marine Combat Patrol?
The Chaos Space Marine Combat Patrol. I'm almost positive. Let me take a look at it again. Hold on. Before we go.
And that actually leads me to a question of the Iron Hands one that Jody was just working on. Is that just generic Chaos Space Marine?
I thought it was. Hang on. Oh, wait a minute. This one's not that bad. This is not the one I was thinking of. I think I'm thinking of the Thousand Suns one. Yeah, this one's not that bad. It's got some. I have almost all this stuff painted.
There you go.
The Dreadnought. I don't know. I'm going to have my hands full with the one thing.
It's
you know what? I'm mistaken, Jody. I was thinking the Thousand Suns Combat Patrol. I was just recently talking. Somebody was asking about one of these, and Don had said, "Oh, get the Combat Patrol. That's a good start." Unfortunately, the Combat Patrol for Thousand Suns is like 20 Zangors, a squad of 5 Rubric Terminators, and then Scarab Assault Terminators, and then the new Sorcerer guy. And I'm like, this is a terrible Combat Patrol. Those Zangors
Well, stuff you have.
well, the Zangors will get torn to pieces. Like, this is not like, okay, you know.
I don't know how competitive any of them are. It'll be fun. The other one's actually probably going to be good just because up there. But
yeah.
And for me, it's just a good motivational kickstart to the new.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think it's the absolute right. We've talked about this too. I think it's the absolute right thing for Games Workshop to be doing. It's like, oh, you know, and that was always the frustrating thing with like the Battle Force boxes that you bought before was you buy this box. Oh, but now you have to buy this and this to actually play the game. So it's super smart that they're just like, look, you're in for whatever they cost, $150 or whatever. You're in for $150 and you're actually playing. And whether that's, you know, like I think the worst list is the Space Marines one. If you look at the Space Marine Combat Patrol that you can buy, if I remember correctly,
I've got it painted.
Okay, but you look at it, right? Now look at the Blood Angels Combat Patrol.
Yeah.
Right? That comes with like the vehicle and everything. And I'm like, one of these things is not like the other. You know?
It was a cool way to push all the new Primaris and Terminators. And
yes.
Like they just doubled up on the Leviathan set, which is totally fine.
I get it. Yeah. And then if you look at the Tyranid one, it's not particularly great either. And in fact, I was talking to, who was I talking to? I was talking to somebody who runs a game store. It wasn't Sky. And they were saying, I don't even stock the Space Marine in the Terminator one because, or the Tyranid one, because it doesn't sell.
Because everybody got those in Leviathan already.
Yeah, but that Blood Angels one is sick. Not only do you get the vehicle, and then you get, let me look it up, but you also get all right, hold on. I gotta look it up now. Here it is, Combat Patrol Blood Angels. Yeah. So you get oh my goodness. I mean, the base units are okay. You get some Primaris intercessors. You get what are the assault guys? The in the Gravis armor.
Intercessors. Oh, blanking on the name.
Let me find here's the list. Yeah. So one Primaris librarian. Okay, solid. An Impulsor. Okay, which is an amazing vehicle.
Yeah.
5 Primaris intercessors, 5 Primaris incursors, which are like the scout dudes, 3 Primaris aggressors, and then you get 2 Blood Angels Primaris upgrade frames, which is pretty cool. For 160. I mean, that's a good deal. That vehicle alone, I think, is $80.
Yeah. All the combat patrols are really good discounts.
They're all good deals. Yeah.
If you want what's inside, it's a great way to start. And
I just don't think the Thousand Suns one is a particularly good starting kit to a Thousand Suns army at this point. But if you're just playing Combat Patrol, I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
And I'm also curious to see how a dedicated Combat Patrol event goes and how.
Yeah, it would be very interesting.
Yeah,
very interesting.
So I'm here for it.
All right. Well, Chelle and I are going to dinner.
Yeah.
I will talk to everybody later.
Yeah, we're gonna shut it down here, but we'll see you all next time, and a week or two, whenever.
Hope you got some hobby done. All right.
Yeah,
talk to you
absolutely.
later.
All right.
Bye.
See y'all next time.